They're going to haul Jarrett out of the really wet grass there in the tri-oval and back to the garage to see if they can make repairs. Fifth caution of this race. We've completed 173 laps. Welcome back to Richmond, which has not been kind to Bobby Labonte today. Caught up in Dale Jarrett's spin. Here's another look at it. Both cars in the garage.
Kind of some more of that Gibbs luck this year. You know, these two teams are just snake bit.
Now watch Kurt Busch trying to snake his way through here. What about there on the outside?
Back it down, back it down, back it down. You gotta open the wall. Stay right there. Come on, come on. Good job. Caution's out. Come on. Clear all around.
It all happens in the blink of an eye. Dick Berggren.
Well, Bobby Labonte climbed out of his car, very discouraged race driver, and no wonder. They've got the frame machine here to try to straighten out the back end. Big puddle of oil underneath it. What happened out there, Bobby?
It looked like the 88 car got up out of the groove and came back down. He and the 43 car got together, and I seen all this happening way back there, and I guess the 10 car didn't see it happening, so he got me a little bit in the left rear and got me turned around. I just stood in the gas trying to do a 360 there, trying to get away from the 88 because I seen him coming down the racetrack and it didn't work out.
Well, we're glad you're okay. We're getting ready for a green flag. Mike?
Well, that's a pretty accurate account of what happened.
Very little damage to Nemechek's car as a result of that little bump, but that's all it takes. And we're back under green at lap 178.
Just for the people that wasn't tuned in Friday night or last night, the reason Joe Nemechek is in the 10 car, Johnny Benson, who normally drives that car, was in a wreck in the Busch race and broke a rib, so Joe Nemechek started this car last night.
And I have to defend Joe, because when you're back in the pack like he was and something starts to unfold in front of you, somebody's going to check up a little quicker than you do because it hadn't gotten to you yet. That's what happened to him.
Ricky Rudd out front of Ward Burton, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Green, and Ryan Newman. Here's Steve Burns.
Mike, Ryan Newman's trying to get out of a slump. 3 of the last 4 races, he's finished 40th or worse. But here today, the car is tight at the beginning of the run. Then it starts to loosen up a little bit. They raise the track bar 1 round on their last stop. To Matt Yoakum.
Steve, on Tony Stewart's last run before his last pit stop, the first 2/3 the car was running very well. Then the last third, the car went back to tight, just like it was last night. They made a wedge adjustment, but the big hindrance for Stewart was actually when he tried to make his exit from pit road. He was blocked in by Dale Earnhardt Jr. He lost a lot of time, which equated to 5 spots on the racetrack. He's trying to move back up, and so is Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, Rusty and Jeff Gordon are kind of going at it hot and heavy there. Jeff cut Rusty off over there on coming off of 2, and Rusty drove it down into 3, got under him, and he's going to make the pass.
And they have Bobby Hamilton, the 55 car, 2 laps down. He's in the mix. Looks like he's going to take the position away from Rusty, trying to get back up to the front where maybe he can make those laps up.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about his sway bar, and I just couldn't imagine a sway bar was off that car, because we were watching it, and it was still sitting real flat going around the track. It would have been raring up if it had a bar loose.
Whatever was wrong with Hamilton's car, and they still aren't sure what it was, it appears they've got it fixed.
Cars are like that. They got demons in them, you know. They'll just go crazy on you. You'll never know why. Kurt Busch rubbing the right side up against the wall here again. He thinks he's at Darlington.
On that last caution, since we'd only ran 7 laps, we had about 4 of our lead lap cars that pitted: Steve Park, Jerry Nadeau, Hutch Strickland, and Elliott Sadler.
Boy, Rusty and Jeff Gordon, I'm telling you, they're after each other.
Yeah, this is war right here.
Yeah, this is like, you remember that one race here when the last restart?
This is a battle for 7th. You look right back there and see that 7 car of Casey Atwood. And something we do need to mention, Tony Furr, that we talked about taking over the crew chief position, he had to leave the racetrack. Our condolences to him and his wife. Tony's mother-in-law passed away, so he had to unexpectedly leave the racetrack here.
Remember last year here, guys? Come down and they had a restart, and Rusty gets under Gordon, sends him up the hill. After the race, he didn't really seem like he appreciated that much, and I think they've renewed that rivalry. And that's not
you demand.
That's not you demand. He's not asking for directions, I can tell you that.
So today, same stage, different play. We'll see how they write the final act to this one.
Well, it's a little early, but I think that'll refresh both of them's memory. They're both having flashbacks as we speak.
Ricky Rudd's got a view of Ward Burton looming ever closer in his rear view.
Just about 3 car lengths back there to Ward.
Can't say enough about that 22 car. I mean, that thing is awesome.
Meanwhile, Rudd's teammate Dale Jarrett sits in the garage. Here's Dick.
He's still got his helmet on, Mike, but it's going to be a long time before Dale Jarrett gets back on the racetrack, if at all, today. The left front corner of this car is severely torn up. You see the sheet metal pushed in, but much more important than that, he was hit hard enough that the left front upper control arm broke completely through. They're going to have to replace that. They're in the process of taking the hub off. Hood is off the car. There are a total of 11 mechanics working on this thing right now. Some in the left front corner, some in the right rear. This car is very, very badly damaged. I don't know whether this is worse or the car he started this weekend is worse. He's now wrecked 2 cars this weekend. A weekend for DJ.
He came in here 13th in points, Dick, and he could fall out of the top 20.
And has always had good runs here, especially since joining the 88 car in 1996. In 12 races, 9 of those races he has finished 4th or better. Always runs good here.
10 laps to halfway. Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton are just about identical on the stopwatch right now.
They are by far the 2 fastest cars. They're running 2160s. Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Green are in their 2180s. But yeah, for the last 5 laps, their laps have mirrored each other on the stopwatch.
And normally here, to tell you how good the sealer is and what the tires are doing, we usually race in the middle 22s here. 22.20 to 22.40, 50 along in there, and we're running 21.5s today.
But what I like about this racetrack and this tire that Goodyear has, Rudd's last lap was 21.69 on lap 191. The fastest lap he ran was on 189, 21.59. Good tire, good racetrack.
Oh, trouble down here, there it goes.
We're under the 6th caution. Kurt Busch spinning down in turns 1 and 2.
That would be with assist.
Yes. Robbie Gordon right behind him.
Just opens that door. I mean, you know, he's a little wide going into one, and that gives Robbie room to get down under him. And, you know, it's kind of a give and take thing.
Hang on to it, hang on to it.
Darrell, things are so
right
close
there.
down there. If Robbie Gordon checks up, Kenny Schrader will get into him, and so on and so on and so on.
But the one thing I did not hear out of that spotter's radio is clear. I did not hear the word clear.
Kurt did a good job of keeping the thing out of the fence. He spins it around, but here come the leaders.
And the reason he didn't hear clear, he was not clear. Now you're clear on that.
Are you clear on that? 1 to go. Let's go back to racing.
Field bunches up behind the safety car. We've had 50 laps of caution, 6 caution periods so far.
We had several league lap cars pit there. Only had 12 laps on their tires. Dave Blaney, Kenny Schrader, Stacy Compton, Steve Park, Sterling Marlin, John Andretti again. Matt Kenseth, he has 4 fresh tires, and he's back up there 1 lap down, starting beside Ricky Rudd, the 28 car, the leader.
Green flag.
Tell you what, if he's got his pressure down low, like several of these guys have come out on 4 tires, it won't help him much for a while. Matter of fact, it hurts him for a little bit.
Well, Rudd gets a good restart. Already pulled away about 5 car lengths, headed down the backstretch.
Ward Burton's got to go. On the last restart, he got kind of trapped there behind Matt Kenseth and never had a chance to close up on Rudd. So he's got to beat Kenseth here to have a chance at the leader.
He's going to clear him getting that into turn 1.
I'm going to tell you, the old cat is purring today, boys.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jimmy Spencer's radio conversations have become very, very interesting. Asked how the car was, he said, it's real good, but I got to quit over driving it. He also said that the groove is beginning to move up, and as it does, he thinks he's going to be able to have a better entry because he's going to be able to go into the turns a little bit more wide than he has now. Spencer, a real good car that's getting better as this race wears on.
You just got to be careful when you make that wide entry. It feels good, but you don't want to let anybody slip in under you and not know they're there. This track's a big D. I mean, the back straightaway is a little short straightaway, and then the front is a great big loop and turn, and so it opens up the bottom going into one for a culprit.
And again, Rusty and Jeff Gordon's cars have a magnetic attraction for one another.
Yeah, and still got a long way to go.
We're just past halfway.
It's a long way to Richmond.
You look right out in front of these guys, the 99 car, Jeff Burton, he'd been trying to make the second groove work. He finally gave up on it and just fell in behind Ryan Newman there, the 12 car. He ran it for about 2 or 3 laps and just wasn't going anywhere at all.
Looks like Rusty's going to prevail here on Gordon.
Well, I don't know. He's being mighty cautious, being mighty kind right now.
Well, they were coming up on Brett Bodine, and somebody had to give if they were going to get by him single file.
8 car coming back out, guys.
And Steve Burns with a fellow who sure wishes he was out there today.
Yeah, Mike, Johnny Benson here and moving gingerly. Johnny, we're glad to see you. How are you feeling?
Staying sore, that's for sure. Hopefully you can hear me because I can't talk any louder than this. But Joe looks like he's doing a good job. But I like looking at the interior of this car a lot better than the exterior. We'll see what they can do. I think they got a pretty good car.
Benson, who either cracked or broke a rib in that crash Friday night, was kept overnight for observation at the area hospital, and so Nemechek is in the number 10. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick's been busy.
Like Casey Atwood in the 7 maybe bobble just a little bit. Harvick in that throttle just gets into the back of it.
That's that outside groove. I mean, it's almost, it's a half a groove, and you get the right side tires up there in that new sealer, and the car will just break loose with you. You got to be really, really cautious. You kind of play around with that. You get the right rear end and say, that feels like it's going to, nope, it ain't there.
Harvick now 11th, Ricky Craven 12th, Tony Stewart just went by Harvick.
And you know, watching Ricky Craven in the 32 car, I believe this racetrack has come to his race car. I mean, he had went all the way to the back last night. I believe the track conditions today in temperatures are suiting his race car much better.
The car looks better with the sun shining.
It's a battle for 13th. Craven's now in 12th.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has made repairs. He's back in the race and carrying about 80% speed.
24 right there if you want it.
Among the rookies, Ryan Newman is 5th, and last week's winner, Jimmy Johnson, running in 11th position, the Lowe's Chevy. Right behind Terry Labonte.
One of the things that Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canal seem to be real good at is to get that car better as the day goes on. So he's back there in 11th now, but wouldn't surprise me to see him improve as we get near the end of the show.
That's his teammate right there, Terry Labonte, in the 5 car. Terry's running in the 10th position. Had that good run about a month ago at Martinsville. Finishes 4th, and this is the same race car. Was brand new at Martinsville.
Yeah, Terry is quietly hanging around the top 10, and that's it's always a good sign for Terry Labonte.
He has 3 wins here, but he's still hunting that first top 5 finish of this season.
Right behind them comes Tony Stewart, who is closing and has climbed his way up to 12th place.
You can tell, Mike, a lot of these cars that were off a little bit at the beginning of the race are making the adjustments necessary, and they keep creeping a little